Okay, I'm here with Ian Boswell, who's now the Best Young Rider at the Tour of Utah. So, Ian, was that a plan for you to get the Best Young Rider jersey coming into this race?
It definitely wasn't like a goal, but it was definitely something I had in mind, and I realized, if I have a good overall GC, that it would just turn out that I would, be in that jersey.
All right. So, you turned heads last year when you got in the break at Nevada City with Levi Leipheimer and a few others, including Ben Mains. And now here you are battling with Levi. So, how's it feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing like how far I've come in a year, but at the same time, it's, progression. That's all that cycling is essentially, is, try to keep going forward and keep getting better and better.
So, we met at training camp, at BISSELL training camp earlier this year in February, and you said that you hope this year, on your first year as a pro, that it was a transition year and you hope to learn a lot. So, how's that working for you?
It's going really well. The BISSELL team has been awesome with helping me, and, yesterday they put a lot of faith in me and, just helping me, stay out of the wind, and the older guys on the team have done a really good job of helping me make the transition from junior to neo pro. And, yeah, it's been a good year, and I've learned, so much that's helped me to get the result I got yesterday.
So what have you learned, and did you make any mistakes that you will never make again?
Yeah, I mean, just like a lot of smaller things. No huge mistakes, but just small things as far as how to present yourself, how to represent your sponsors, that kind of thing, and then also just in the races, where to be, what to look for, before the going gets tough.
Did anything out there surprise you, either in the racing or did you change your training at all?
Yesterday in the race, it surprised me, like the wind, it was. I had a couple of teammates help me stay out of the wind, and it was an easy ride for me. And I looked back at one point, and the field had split, and we had maybe 30 guys left in the pack, and I was shocked because for me it was an easy ride because I had the help of my teammates. As far as training, I've been out here in Utah for 10 days now, training at altitude. And that's helped, and just riding the climbs and knowing the climbs, knowing yesterday when it flattened off and when it got steep definitely helped mentally to know when you could ease up and when you needed to go harder.
Okay. So how much of it for you this year has been a physical learning period or versus a mental learning period?
It's been both. I mean, definitely, having a full year of racing last year with so many races, definitely just physically have gotten stronger and developed more. But I think the mental side is what's made me so much better this year as far as confidence. My ride at Nevada City, winning that, and then having a good ride at Cascade gave me a lot of confidence, and just knowing, believing in myself. And yeah, I mean, this cycling takes a lot mentally, and having that confidence definitely has helped.
So so take a step back. So how did you get here? So give me a brief history of your cycling career.
Well, my dad used to race back in the '80s in Northern California, and then he got into triathlons, and so I was kind of introduced to it at a young age. Did a lot of tandem rides and things. And actually, during the Cascade Cycling Classic, when I was 11 or 12, I did the kids race, and yeah, I won and just got hooked from there.
That was your first win?
Yeah. And so, but since then, it's just been a slow progression. And I was actually out here in Park City. Nationals were here in 2006, I believe, and I had a good ride there. And since then, it's just kind of been my interest and been my hobby, and kept working way up the ladder.
And your skills are time trialing and climbing. So have you always been naturally good at that, or did you have to work a lot on getting those skills up?
Yeah, I mean, climbing's always kind of been natural. I'm not sure why. Climbing in bends pretty good, but it's just, I think it's just my body type, kind of long and lean. Time trialing is something I've been good at the past this year. I haven't spent as much time on the time trial bike as I would have liked. And at this level, the older guys are just have so much more strength. So trying to improve on that, and I think I have a long way to go and can get better in the future.
All right, and you've raced internationally before, right? You've been to the national team, I think, over to Europe.
Yeah.
So how was that experience like?
It's another world over there. The racing's hard, but it's a lot more physical. Like a race yesterday is hard. It's hard because the courses is where you go over to Europe. It's hard because the racers and. You can have a dead flat race and it can be 10 times harder than the stage yesterday just because crosswinds and people throwing you in the gutter and narrow roads and things. But it teaches you a lot and you come back a lot stronger than you went.
And so, give me an example. What races did you do over there?
Well, I've done 4 years of national team stuff. So I went over when I was 15, 16 and did a trip. Went over 17, 18, did a couple Nations Cups and some bigger stage races. And then last year I had a pretty good block. Did the Peace Race, which was a 6-day race in the Czech Republic, and did the World Championships last year in Moscow, Russia, which was an honor to go to, and it was a hard race. And then I went over again this spring with the national team, did a few U23 Nations Cup, And yeah, that was hard. You know, everyone's a lot stronger than in juniors. Races are longer, but it prepared me well for this season.
All right, you know, that's a lot of traveling. You're a young guy,
Yeah.
19, right? Or
19.
You're 19, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're a young guy. You know, most people your age are, you know, are out partying and having fun.
Yeah.
So you know, how hard is it for you, you know, traveling like this all over the world and being away from your family and friends most of the time?
Yeah, like my friends always, you know, are kind of jealous of my travel and stuff, but they don't realize all the, you know, sacrifice that goes into it. When I get, you know, phone calls last night at, you know, 12 midnight, you know, and people are calling me to go hang out or whatever, but it's worth it in the long run. You know, there's a lot of sacrifices, but having a day like yesterday makes it all worthwhile.
All right. And now, you know, you're finishing your season. Do you know what else you're doing after this race?
There's the Tour de l'Avenir in France is starts in like early September, and so it's still the team hasn't been selected, but I'm hoping to make that team. And if not, yeah, do some local races and then head out to Greenville for a U.S. Pro. And regardless of whether I go to l'Avenir or not, I'll be at U.S. Pro.
All right. And anywhere about Worlds Championships afterwards?
I have not heard about that.
Yeah.
No, the teams haven't been selected. So.
All right. And then we all know next year you sign for Trek Livestrong. So, you know, what's your goal for next year? What would you like to see and do?
The goal for next year is just to try to get more European experience. You know, this year's an awesome year. I learned a lot from the guys at BISSELL, and it's been a really good season. But next year, just try to get over to Europe more and get more of that international experience and keep developing and keep moving forward.
So, you know, here you're racing against your future teammates. Does that change anything?
No, not really. I mean, you know, it's a lot of the guys are my friends, so it's, you know, regardless of whether we're on the same team or not, we're buddies. But yeah, it doesn't. As far as racing, you know, I race in BISSELL and race for BISSELL, so that's how it works.
You must be a little pleasure put them in the gutter sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and so where do we like to see yourself, let's say, in 3 to 5 years?
Hopefully, you know, by the time I'm out of U23, try to make the transition to maybe like a Pro Tour team, a Pro Continental team. But you know, at this stage, it's hard to say. But it's kind of interesting, you know, racing over in Europe this spring with a lot of kids who, you know, all the new signings for next year coming out, and a lot of kids who we race with are signing Pro Tour, and it's kind of, you know, shocking to see that, you know, the level's not that far away, that, you know, I could be making this step to a bigger team, but you got to keep in mind the present and just keep the goals small for now and keep working forward.
So do you wish you were going for Pro Tour next year? I mean, that you make that's a big leap to make.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's I mean, you've seen a lot of riders who, you know, prefer the few more years of development to, because cycling is such a sport where it takes so much development, and yeah, it's definitely a goal of mine, but not for a few years.
Yeah, and you know, you're climber type.
Yeah.
So are there any climbs that you'd love to tackle in Europe?
I haven't done hardly any the monster climbs in Europe. Yeah, I mean, hopefully if I get to go over for l'Avenir, we do some of the bigger climbs, and that'd be fun to just try any of them.
So what type of climbing do you like to do? Short and steep or long? And
Definitely longer climbs, like yesterday's climb was good. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have a great acceleration, so the longer and steadier the climb, the better.
And I was told to ask you about a burrito, that somehow you have a burrito named after you.
Oh yeah, there's the taco stand in Bend, Oregon has the Boswell challenge, and my friend's father owns it, and so a group of us all went down there, and he made a couple big burritos, and we did a challenge, and whoever won, he was going to name the burrito after. And so yeah, it's like a 4.5-pound burrito, and I ate it in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you're ever in Bend, you should come out and try it.
Do you still eat those burritos?
Oh yeah, it's yeah, my team always gives me garbage for eating so much, but
okay.
yeah, I guess I'm young, metabolism's fast.
All right, you guys, yeah, because there's no way you eat 4-pound burritos often. Come on, look at you.
Yeah, I get fast metabolism.